Myself Jyoti from SDKL DAV Public School Mansa. Welcome all the students in this session which is related to the subject economics. Students, before starting this session, let's discuss some real life activities. Students, suppose if you want to go outside the city, this is your goal. You want to go to a particular place. It is your destination. Now what will you do to reach the destination? You have to plan beforehand. You have to plan the various activities in advance, what to do, how to do, when to make the activity efficiently and effectively performed to achieve the goals. So students, what is the purpose behind this discussion? That I want to tell you that there is goals behind every planning, and for the achievement of the goals, planning is done, and without planning goals can't be achieved. So let's relate this discussion with today's topic, which is economic planning in India and its goals. Students, as you know, in India, when India was got independence, there was very worst situation of Indian economy. Indian economy was backward, stagnant, depleted, and other worst features were present in that time. So, after independence, what should be done? Planning should be done. Economic planning should be done. But every economic planning must have goals. So today's topic is the goals of economic planning. And students, I want to add a point in this. What type of plans were made at that time? 5-year plans. We can say 5-year plans and also long period plans, that is perspective plans. So planning and its goals is the topic. So what were the goals that the government of India wanted to achieve from the economic planning? Let's start the discussion. Students, topic is goals of economic planning in India. So you have to answer a question. When was the first economic plan introduced in India? Yes, after independence, that is from 1951. 1951 was the year when first economic plan we can say was introduced. And what was the duration of the first 5-year plan, students? The duration was 5 years. So the duration is from 1951 to 1956. Let's come to the topic now. Goals of economic planning in India. First is growth. So when we discuss the word growth, many terms come to our mind. That some students think growth means growth in population, some think growth means growth in productivity or agriculture sector, some may think that growth is increase in the production in the factories. So let's make it clear. What is the meaning of growth here? The word growth means increase in the country's capacity to produce goods and services. So students, we are talking about a country's capacity to produce. So country's capacity to produce must increase. It indicates growth. And secondly, how the country's capacity to produce goods and services can be increased. First is large stock of productive capital should be there. Productive capital means that capital which can be used for production purposes in a positive way. Second is supporting services like transport, electricity, etc. And the third one is to increase the efficiency of capital. Students, it is not enough that we have productive capital. The economy has to increase the efficiency of the capital as well. Now, how economic growth is indicated? How can we say that economic growth is going on? The indicators are rise in GDP. Now the new term GDP. GDP means gross domestic product, and gross domestic product means production of goods and services in an economy during an accounting year within the domestic territory of an economy. So rise in GDP is a sign of economic growth, and consistent rise in GDP should be there. Suppose GDP has risen in the previous years, but in this year GDP has fallen. So we can't say it as economic growth. So economic growth means GDP must rise consistently. And the next is how rise in GDP possible. How GDP can be risen by contribution of the various sectors. Students, do you know about sectors? Yes. Primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. There are three sectors in an economy. So each sector contributes. Primary sector is related to the production with the help of natural resources like agriculture, and secondary sector is related to production in industries, manufacturing sector we can say, and the third is service sector or tertiary sector. So there are the three sectors in an economy. So each sector contributes. We can say this term as composition or sectorial composition, contribution of each sector. So how GDP can rise with the contribution of the three sectors in the economy. But now we have to discuss about the structural transformation, because in every economy it is not equal that primary sector is contributing, how much secondary sector is contributing, and how much tertiary sector is contributing. In each country, different sectors have different sectorial composition. So let's start with example of India. In 1950-51, when economic planning was started, students, what was the percentage of agriculture? In GDP, 59%, and industries, 28%, and services, only 13%. So what are you observing from this pie diagram? That 59% of the share was of agriculture. But now students, in 1990 to 91, there is structural transformation. Structural transformation means shifting from one sector to another. So how can we say this? With the help of data, that in agriculture only 34.9% share, and in industries 24.6%, and in service sector, this data is very much important, 40.5%. What does it mean? You can compare the both diagrams, that agriculture sector's contribution reduced year by year, and service sector has increased by leaps and bounds, that is 40.5%. So this term is called structural transformation, and it is a good sign, because any economy, if depend on the agriculture and the less development of industries and service sector, is a sign of backwardness. But in India, after 1991, India adopted new economic policy and led to globalization. So that's why structural transformation took place. So this is all about the first goal, growth. So Indian economic planning set growth as first and foremost goal of the planning in India. And second one is modernization. Students, what do you mean by the term modernization? Modernization, when we discuss about the word modernization, the terms innovation, the terms new, the terms creative comes to our mind. Yes, here also the meaning of modernization is use of new technology, innovative technology in the production of goods and services. Now suppose we take an example of farmer. How farmer can modernize his production? By using better seeds, better quality of seeds, better machines. And how in manufacturing sector production can be increased? Yes, by the using of better or new or innovative technologies. And the next is change in social outlook. Social outlook should also be changed. Students, suppose social outlook is not changed. Social outlook means the way of thinking is not changed. Then what would happen? Then modernization would not take place. Suppose there are innovative technologies in the market, but a farmer or a person is not adopting these technologies due to the traditional outlook, then what would happen? No change will be there, no modernization will be there. So modernization means not only change in technology but also change in the social outlook. We can take an example here, gender empowerment. As you know, there is no difference between men and women this time. So women empowerment means more and more using the talents of women in the fields of banks, factories or schools should be done. This is also signs of modernization, and without modernization no economy can develop. Thank you. Students, we have already discussed the two goals of economic planning in India. These are GDP growth and modernization. Let's talk ahead about the economic planning in India. The next goal is self-reliance. The word reliance means trust. So self-reliance means self-trust. So we should not be dependent on the other economies for each and every good and services. So self-reliance is one of the goals of economic planning, which means avoiding the import of goods which can be produced in the domestic country. Suppose a country has resources for a commodity and it can produce that commodity with its labor surplus, so need not to import it. So how a country can reduce the dependence on the other countries? By developing more and more domestic resources, and second is with modernization, with innovation, with new techniques. And students, why it should be done? Why there should be self-reliance? Because if there is very much dependence on the foreign countries, even for the essential commodities like food grains, then the foreign countries start playing dominant role and interfere in the domestic economy, in economic matters as well as political matters. So to avoid this, country should be self-reliant. And the next goal, economic planning goal, is equity. So equity, as the name suggests, equity means distribution of the economic benefits in a fair way. How this distribution is fair? How this distribution can be justifiable? By distributing the economic prosperity and growth to every section of the society. It means benefit should reach to each and every section, irrespective that the person is rich or poor. So as per the basic needs, all should receive the basic needs like food, housing, clothing, education and health. So students, these are the economic planning and its goals. Every economy try to achieve these goals through economic planning, which are GDP growth, modernization, self-reliance and equity. Thank you and have a nice day.